The Brains On podcast for kids is very popular, and it's coming to Columbus for an afternoon show on Saturday, June 20th at the Southern Theater. Hosts Molly Bloom, Marc Sanchez, and Sanden Totten are joining me today to discuss what all will happen. Welcome to Craft, Molly, Marc, and Sanden.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, hi, Doug.
Hi. So tell me about what people will see when they go to the Brains On show. How are you going to turn their brains on?
Oh, wow. We have a lot of fun things planned. We like to say it's science that feels like a party. So we're going to take you through a tour of your own brain and learn about your brain's superpowers. And we're going to talk to ancient scientists. We're going to have some magic tricks. We have a game show. There's dancing. So, it's a lot more than just listening to a podcast at the live show for sure.
All right. So I was wanting to talk to you about some of those topics because on your podcast, on the very popular Brains On podcast, you've covered growth spurts and puberty and why we don't feel the earth moving. And these are just some of the more recent ones. I think you've got around 400 different episodes for people to check out. So how do you choose your topics? What goes into deciding what you're going to do?
Yeah. Well, every episode of Brains On actually comes from a kid. So we have kids send in questions about what they're curious about in the world, and then we go and answer it. And sometimes that means we go talk to scientists to find out the answer. Sometimes we're reading books, doing deep research. Sometimes we even go and see things in real life. Like Molly went to go see how weather balloons are sent up in the air to find out how we track the weather. So it all starts with kids and their curiosity, and then we turn that into a whole episode built around science and skits and fun games and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Have you had an experience where somebody asks a question and at the end of all your research, you think, I still don't know. How often does that happen?
Definitely.
Yes, I think one particular one that I can remember is someone asked, why is glass clear? If it's made of stuff. And I talked to people and read stuff, and I was like, I think this is beyond my understanding. Most things we can figure out a way to understand and explain, but this one, that's a tough one.
Another one was,
I was going to say the ones with visuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are tough to do in an audio podcast.
Yeah. Someone asked us about mirages and how they work. And like, if we could draw it, it would have been like a 5-minute little video, because it's like you could show the rays refracting through. But when you had to try to explain how the light bent through the heat, right? It broke our brains trying to figure it out. And so we said, pass, let's just do one on squids or something we can make sense of a little easier.
Although squids themselves, or maybe it's octopus that are so weird and weirdly intelligent and can get away with a lot of things. I love the idea of you wandering around afterwards going, but why is glass clear?
Yeah, absolutely. It's still stuck with me. I look at windows still and I'm like, but how?
Every time you get in the car, you go, it's magic.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, the website also mentions for your show that there will be out-of-body experiences. Mm-hmm. And I would be happy to leave my body for a younger one in better shape. So tell me what was going to happen for that part of the show.
That's actually an animation that kind of follows the whole episode or the whole event. So we show it in three different videos, and it kind of talks about the realization of a young girl who then goes to college, who realizes that she could have outer body experiences and she could sort of control them. Mm-hmm. So
it's based on a true story. There was a research paper published maybe about 10 years ago at this point about a girl who could sort of lay down and just, when she was falling asleep, have an out-of-body experience. And when she found out in college that this was not something everyone could do, because a professor was kind of telling her this was very rare and sometimes people have it, after a big operation or when they're in the hospital, she said, I can do that. And so they teamed up and they studied her brain to figure out how she did this. And that's kind of what the story's about.
So how is it an out-of-body experience? Does she describe herself from above? What is because I'm skeptical. I got to say, even as much as I would like, to be in a different body, I'm skeptical.
Yeah, they did like MRIs of her brain to see what was happening when she could do what she felt were these out-of-body experiences. And what it turns out is that it's a super realistic 3D image that she can basically recreate in her brain, which a lot of people can't do on command. So it feels to her like an out-of-body experience, but it's really her brain is making basically a picture that she can turn around in her head, which is
Okay.
pretty
So
cool.
Doug, it's not like swapping bodies. She doesn't have
Yeah.
a new
Right.
body, or she's not. This isn't the substance or anything like that. What's going on is really that it's like that situation that sometimes people describe where they sort of see themselves from above. You know, maybe they're on an operating table and they're watching the doctors do all the things, and
Right.
they're like, "I swear, I could see myself being operated on," or, you know, "I was floating above myself in bed while I was sleeping and looking down at myself." That kind of thing that she was able to do on command. And there, after they published this research, a lot of other people came out and said, "I have been able to do this since I was a kid too." So there seems to be some kind of mechanism in the brain that helps us create this feeling of being outside our body, but we still haven't figured out how to turn it into an app that you could download on your phone, Doug, whenever you want to just
Right.
peace out from your
Float
body for a
away.
bit.
Yeah. Have any
The
of
two-
you? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the two most famous are Jamie Lee Curtis and Miley Cyrus. Freaky Friday. I'm just kidding.
Miley Cyrus is not in Freaky Friday, Mark. It's Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay
I'm
Lohan.
so sorry.
Oh,
You had me
Oh,
for
wow.
about a second there, and then I thought, wait a minute. I would have heard more about Jamie Lee Curtis
Yes.
being out of her body, but she's more of my generation. What are some of the most common reactions you get from people in the audience, whether it's for the out of body or talking about other aspects of the topics that you bring up?
I think
Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say a lot of people that come to the show are fans of the podcast. Makes sense. So a lot of them are really excited to be there. The parents are excited to be there. Our show is kind of built around, like we said, around kids' questions and their curiosity, but also we sort of make it for the parents too, to not get bored. So they appreciate that. So we get a lot of positive feedback. It's kind of incredible. After we all came up in public radio, and the amount of mail people send in to just your average news show or any public radio show it can be a lot. There's a lot of people who, you know, are correcting your grammar and this kind of thing, but we've always gotten great mail and just thankful letters, and that extends into the audience that we see at the live show too.
Yeah, and I think if people aren't familiar with the podcast, like we've had people come who, you know, they're just going because they want something fun to do with their kids on the weekend. And we hear from them that they, you know, it's a very interactive show. So we're teaching the kids and they're moving their bodies and they're getting chances to answer and guess things, like we come out into the audience with microphones. So it's very interactive and like keeps moving quickly so kids won't get bored. And we have a lot of jokes in there for parents too. So the parents also can have a good time as well.
Excellent. So what are your personal favorite parts of the show? What is it that you look forward to the most for each of you?
For the live show?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start, Sanden?
Yeah, I love when we do the mystery sound. So this is something we do in every podcast episode. We play a sound, and you got to listen closely, and then you try to guess what it is. And of course, our fans love this. We've been doing it since the beginning. So like all 400 episodes you mentioned have a mystery sound in them. Some of them have many. And we do a bunch of them live. And so everybody, you're in this room full of kids, right? And they're all chattering and squirming. And then we're like, it's time for the mystery sound. And they all go, shh. And it's like you could hear a pin drop as everybody listens to hear what the sound is. And then hands shoot up and everyone tries to guess, and we run around to get their answers. And it's so fun. Some kids get the sound right away. Other kids have very creative, interpretive answers.
Mm-hmm.
It's super fun. I love that part.
What are
And
some of the,
kids, you never know what they're going to say.
yeah, just out of curiosity, what's the most difficult sound, or what's one of the sounds that nobody seems to get?
We're not telling you.
We
You
can't
gotta
give
find
that
out.
away.
Yeah,
It's a
come
mystery.
on.
You got to come to the show.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
All right.
It involves fruit is what I'll say.
Fruit being dropped off a roof or something. Okay.
Who can say? Who can
Right.
say?
Mark, Molly, what are your favorite parts?
I love the game show where we show how different animals see the world, and it's very like all the facts we learn about animal vision are mind-blowing, but it's also really fun because we have kids come up on stage and they buzz in to answer questions, which is always really fun and a delight because they get to wear silly hats too.
Nice.
Yeah, and I like both of those things as well, and I do get to show off my dancing skills. So I teach the kids a dance throughout the show, and I think the funnest part is at the end when we kind of put all the parts together, and watching them all kind of wiggle around and do the dance, and they get it right away. It's pretty amazing, and they have a good time with it.
Okay. And then in the time that we've got just left, just really quickly, I'm interested how you had mentioned that you had come up through NPR, all of you. How did you get involved in podcasting and science? What was the route to that job for you?
Well, we come at it through journalism. So we were all working in a public radio newsroom, and we wanted to do something that would let us be a little creative and silly and have some fun. And so we wanted to make something for kids. And there wasn't really anything for kids at the time, and there were not very many podcasts at the time either. This was pre-serial podcasts, if you can remember that far back. But the reason we chose it to be a podcast is because kids like to listen to things over and over again. If you have a kid in your life, you know, like they want to hear the same stories and hear the same songs. So we wanted it to be on demand for them whenever they wanted to hear it. And science just became a really good way to showcase kids' curiosity and their smarts and their silliness. And then Sanden ended up becoming a science reporter in Los Angeles, where he got to report on like NASA and volcanoes and things and earthquakes. And then we just kept making the show, and then it became our full-time jobs. And we've been making it ever since.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you all very much for talking to me today. Again, Molly Bloom, Marc Sanchez, and Sanden Totten, you will all be on stage on June 20th at the Southern Theater, and more information about that will be on crafttheshow.com. Thank you all very much, and have a great day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Doug.